If you're interested in getting a C8 Z06, this is going to tell you how. What's up YouTube? Welcome to Fred's Full Throttle. Each week I'm going to take you with me on my adventures in the world of cars. Let's get right into today's video. Alright, so I want to talk about MacMulkin, the Corvette dealership, and I want to tell you about how the process works for reserving a car, what all the details and kind of the things you might not realize are, as well as let you know that you can still reserve one right now. If you really want a C8 Z06, you can make it happen. Alright, so I want to have a quick disclaimer. I don't work for MacMulkin. I'm not compensated by MacMulkin. I don't have any incentive for providing this information. I don't get anything from it. And I don't have any professional relationship with MacMulkin other than that they sold me my C7 Grand Sport back in 2017 and that I'm a satisfied customer and I've had a really great experience with them. So this is really just because I have had a good experience. I saw the absolute dumpster fire that was the C8 Reservations. I've seen a lot of small dealerships that are marking the cars up like crazy, and I figured maybe I could do a little bit of something to get some real information out there that might help somebody and provide a little bit of clarity that you still can get one of these cars if you're interested. So I don't have any incentive to make this video other than wanting to help other car enthusiasts. But that said, over the last 2 or 3 weeks with some of my recent videos where I provided some information about MacMulkin, I've actually had 3 different people reach out saying that they had gotten reservations for the Z06 at MacMulkin specifically because they had seen my videos. And so that made me feel really good, and I thought, why not make a video summarizing everything so it's easy for somebody to follow, and if you're interested in getting one of the cars, you still have the time to get one. Alright, so for anyone who's not familiar, I want to do a quick recap of MacMulkin Corvette and who they are. So they're based in Nashua, New Hampshire. It's about an hour north of Boston, about a half hour from where I live. They're the second largest Corvette dealer in the country by volume. However, the owner of MacMulkin, Tommy, has said that they actually do higher volume in Z06s than C8s. And then perhaps the biggest thing is that they've built a reputation for honesty, integrity, no hassles, and that anybody who wants a Corvette can get one at MSRP, or when they have a big overstock, they actually will sell them under MSRP. Now the C8's been a little different. They haven't been selling for under MSRP, mostly because the demand is so high, but they are doing MSRP for everybody. You don't have to ask for it, you don't have to argue for it. They will blanket MSRP for anybody who wants a C8 Z06. I think that's pretty cool. And then I'm coming to you as a customer who bought my C7 Grand Sport, had a fantastic buyer experience. I had started going in about a year before I bought the car. I kept coming in with questions. I wanted to see the cars. I had all sorts of details I wanted to figure out. And they not only treated me like a valued customer before I'd spent any money, but they answered all of my questions and they made me feel like somebody who mattered and made me feel important and made me feel special about buying such a cool car. And then since I bought the car, I got it back in 2017. I've had about 5 years of ownership of the car. I've gotten all my service done there, any of the work that I've needed done, and all of it has been just a completely above board experience. They've been prompt, they've been good at the work, the prices have been fair, and it's honestly been a great buying and ownership experience. Alright, so here's how the C8 Z06 reservation experience at MacMulkin works. First, you want to call them up or visit them in person. I'll provide a link in the description for the website so you can get their phone number, learn about them a little bit more, but either call them or go in person. So then once you're talking to them, tell them you want a C8 Z06 reservation. Now, I know that part sounds really obvious, but that's gonna lead into everything else. So once you've indicated that you want one of the cars, they go and take you over to their desks. They're gonna ask you for a $2,000 deposit. That's gonna be a check. They're not gonna take credit cards for it. I tried, I was hoping to get the points. Once they take the check, you're gonna fill out a little bit of paperwork and then you're gonna get your spot in line. The deposit is fully refundable up to the point where they get the allocation for the car and place the order. Now they're gonna tell you the exact number that you are at that moment in time, which as of 12/2, which was yesterday, is in the 1750s. Now that sounds really high, but keep in mind that C8 went well into the 6,000s before they started cutting off and not letting more people reserve. And so instantly you're jumping 2/3 of the way forward in line. Certainly there's still going to be a bunch of waiting, and that is a pretty high number, but on the other hand, I'm pretty confident that MacMulkin's going to be able to deliver on that. So I don't see you as having much to lose, especially if you're above about 2,000 to 3,000 at C8. MacMulkin's probably going to be a faster time to get the car over the long term. Now, once you get that reservation number, they're actually going to give you a website, and I'll provide the link also in the description. But basically, you click there, you put in your email address, and then you actually can see in real time your spot in line. Now, since I placed my reservation a little over a month ago, I've actually dropped a bunch of spots in line already. And that's really because anybody who decides to back out, who is ahead of me in line, I've now moved up a spot. Now, once the car is being produced, as orders are being fulfilled or as other people are dropping out of line, you're actually going to see your spot drop further and further. And so that gives you kind of a running commentary of where you are in the process, where you are in line. And overall, MacMulkin did say there's not going to be a lot of communication with you until you get really close to the start of the line. At that point, they're going to be reaching out. Now, per the confirmation email that I got from them, it said basically 3 to 4 weeks out from the actual allocation of the car to the dealership, which is the point where the order is placed, they're going to be reaching out to you to figure out your final spec and choose how you want to have the car delivered. Now, essentially what that means is your reservation, that $2,000, is refundable at any point in the process up to the point where the allocation is allocated to the dealership. You've placed your options and specs, and then the car is ordered. From that point forward, you can't get a refund on that deposit, but you could back out if you didn't want to purchase the car. You just lose the ability to get a refund. Now, since I've posted a couple of my recent videos, there have been a lot of questions about MacMulkin and the order process, and I've been helping people out in the comments as much as I can, so feel free to reach out. But two of the most common questions is, first of all, can I order the car if I'm out of state? So absolutely you can order the car if you're out of state. You don't have to live in New Hampshire. New Hampshire is a pretty small state, and given the volume that MacMulkin sells, there's no way that they are only selling to people in New Hampshire. In fact, if they did, they probably would have had every single person in the state having a Corvette at some point. So yes, you don't have to be living in New Hampshire in order to order the car. On top of that, the other really common question is, can they ship you the car? And if so, how much does it cost? Well, I've got a really great perspective on this. I had a user on the channel who reached out and said, hey Fred, I bought a C8 Corvette from MacMulkin recently, and they shipped it out to me, and I live on the West Coast. So I was like, that's really cool. Can you give me a little bit of information about it? So they said they used a company called Intercity Lines, which MacMulkin has a really good relationship with. And actually, a lot of the times when I pull up to visit or to go in for a service, they actually have those trucks parked out front, and they're frequently loading them up with Corvettes to send them out across the country. On top of that, they said that the cost was only $2,295 to ship from New Hampshire to the West Coast. They said it took about 8 days, and throughout that time, the driver actually was providing updates so that they had a rough ETA of when they were going to arrive, and that throughout the whole process, they felt like they were in control and that they understood where the car was, what was happening, and that they were part of the process rather than just sort of your car one day shows up. So that sounds pretty great. And so overall, that's the process. It's pretty easy. You pay some money up front. You have no risk really until late in the process because you can get your money back at any time. And then you spec out the car and it can get delivered, or you can go and take delivery. It's a pretty easy process. And like I said, right now, the line is about $1,750 as of yesterday. So honestly, if you're pretty high up in the Ciocca line, if you don't really feel confident you're going to get the car, I think with MacMulkin, you'll first of all get a much lower spot in line, and they stand probably the best chance of any dealership to actually deliver you a C8 Z06. Big disclaimer, I don't work for MacMulkin. I have no idea exactly what their allocations are going to be, but I think you stand a pretty good chance of getting the car if you want it. Certainly there's going to be a wait. I mean, everybody's going to have a wait unless you're in that first couple hundred, but I think it's going to be worth it, and this is going to be a fantastic car. So I hope this was helpful. If you liked it or want to see more Z06 content as I get closer to getting my own reservation fulfilled, please consider giving me a like or subscribe. I'm a small YouTuber. That really helps me out. I don't get paid to do this. I do this because I enjoy cars, and I like talking with people. And thank you very much for watching, and until next time, Fred out! My wife's coming in through the garage door.